Okay. All right, everyone. So we are just going to go rolling along here. So we just finished with Middlesex. We had our little intermission, and now we're joined by another phenomenal school, Oakwood School. I see Angel is here. He seems ready to go. So Oakwood School is separated into two campuses, and a family can experience the K through 12 experience. And then, of course, after graduating from that sixth grade year, there's a seventh through 12th grade experience at the other campus located in North Hollywood, California. This school's mission is to engage students through joyful learning, purposeful play, especially for the younger students, and experiential education. Oakwood School is a kindergarten through grade 12 school, and today we are joined by Mr. Angel Solano, who I believe is the Assistant Director of Admissions. So, Angel, I see you are here. The floor is yours, and you can just introduce yourself and you can get this party started.
All right, thank you so much, Nicholas. Well said. Thank you all for having me today here, just to share with you Oakwood School and what we're all about. So I do have a quick presentation for you to just showcase Oakwood School. Like Nicholas said, we are in Southern California, Los Angeles, North Hollywood part of Los Angeles. And we are a K-12 school. I'm here representing more of the secondary campus, but I will be able to share a little bit more about the overall kind of educational philosophy that we have here. But before we get started, I do want to get you excited, show you a little bit of the campus on our on this quick video. So if you could just bear with me just a second. And let me get this video started for you all. All right, enjoy. Yeah. All right, just to give you a glimpse about Oakwood School there, I do want to share with you some of parts of our website too, just like a little bit of facts and figures before I go into details of what we have to offer. So here at Oakwood School at the secondary campus, we host 7th grade through 12. On this campus, what you saw in the video, we have 523 students in total on that campus. So on average, that's about 90 students per grade. Here are some faculty numbers. There's a total about 69 teachers at the secondary campus. Now we do add an additional class for middle school, 7th and 8th. That's through a partnership with Cal Arts. Cal Arts is one of the most renowned art colleges here in Southern California. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that means. There's a total of 47 teachers and faculty with master's degrees, and there's also 9 with doctorate degrees. In total, we have student to teacher ratio is 8-to-1. So our campus is small. I will say we're not the biggest school campus here in Southern California, but we're also not the smallest. Other things to look at too as well, there's a total of number 7 science labs. I'll show you a little bit of a map right now soon. There's a total of 7 art studios. We have a total of advanced study courses, 21. Now, we recently replaced the AP courses, and I'll talk a little bit more about that a little later on too. There's a total of 8 jazz bands. We also do have rock bands too as well. Number of 3D printers, there's a lot more than 25. I'll talk a little bit more about that. We do have a STEAM laboratory. It's a pretty unique program here at Oakwood School. Not only do we offer as an elective, but there's also after school programs too as well. We have, 4 athletic facilities. Everyone who applies to college will be admitted to college. That's 100%. And so let's go ahead and start with the actual presentation itself. Okay, so we just saw this video. Welcome to Oakwood School. All happens in a day. This is the campus itself. So usually when I give a tour, I usually do walk over a mile giving a tour. So there's everything from, the STEAM laboratory is more on the, can you see my cursor, Nicholas? Yes, no?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. STEAM laboratory kind of takes over this whole area here. This is our office here. We do have our own theater here as well. We have a photography, film, and video studios here. We also do have a sculpture studio over here, a drawing and painting studio. We have a ceramic studio on this side too of the campus as well. We do have our own kiln too as well. The math and science building, this is where most of the academic classes are hosted here. We do have 5 science labs in there as well, including a physics lab that is full of tools and machinery. We do have our own bridge. So Oakwood has its own bridge that allows students to cross from the South Campus to the North Campus. The North Campus is where we usually host the most of the high school classrooms, specifically English and social studies as well. Along that same side of the North Campus, we do have, I would like to think, one of the best facilities here in Southern California, at least the indoor gyms as well. So we have a gym here as well. We also do have music studios, dance studios, and practice rooms in that same facility too as well. We do have a practice turf field back there as well that includes batting cages and kind of like a soccer kind of practice facility. So what makes Oakwood School special? Because you will hear from a lot of great schools here in America. Obviously, education is a big piece. We are a college preparatory school. Not only do we offer just the regular, required classes, but we do also offer advanced study courses too that recently replaced the AP courses. Now, students still are allowed or can take the AP courses. We do cover the material. We're just not teaching toward the test. That's our philosophy here at Oakwood School, that we are very experiential. What does that mean? Is that we want students to have experience in the classroom. Not only, yes, we do have tests, we do have textbooks, we do have pop quizzes, but we want students to have an experience through project-based learning or more of a dialogue in English and social studies. All right. So what is required here at Oakwood School? So for middle school, these are just the academics that each student will take. For middle school, we do have humanities, which is an English and social studies blend. In high school, we split that. So in high school, we do have an English and a social studies. There's world languages. We do offer 3: Spanish, French, and Mandarin. Math is differentiated. What does that mean? Is that we teach math based on your ability. So we don't want you to feel overwhelmed in math. We also don't want you to feel underwhelmed in math. We really want to meet you at your pace. Science, like I said, we do have 5 science labs. In 7th grade and 9th grade, those are our big entry points here at Oakwood School. In 7th grade, we do admit over 40 students in 7th grade. And in 9th grade, we do admit up to 20 students in 9th grade. So it is very selective and somewhat competitive. But if Oakwood School is the right school for you, I'm sure things will work out. Independent study and special topic. This is in case a student wants to take it beyond the scope of what they're learning in a specific subject. For example, if students in science want to learn marine biology, for example, you could start that independent study or special topic with a particular teacher. That's how neuroscience started. That's how number theory for math started. So students can actually take it beyond what they're learning in a classroom and actually create a classroom based on their interest. Okay, so that's just the academics itself. Now, Electives too, we have over 55 electives here at Oakwood School. We really want students to find a passion, find an interest outside of the academics too as well. For us, the electives play an important role in a student's life to feel, to get that outlet, to have that creative side too as well. So visual arts, we offer everything from photography, sculpture, film and video, ceramics, painting and drawing. In performing arts, we do have dance, we have music, we have theater, we have choral. STEAM, like I mentioned, it's a pretty state-of-the-art laboratory. Not only can you take it as an elective, but you also can take it after school for after school activities as well. We have over 16 workstations in that laboratory. Each workstation has access to their own 3D printer. We also have laser cutters. We have power saws. That facility is full of technology and machinery to allow you to create practically anything that you can imagine. Things students have created in the STEAM laboratory is everything from softball toss machines to their electric guitars to even their own 3D printers too as well. It's a pretty great facility. In the after-school programs, we just recently competed in the Hydrogen Fuel Cell Challenge that is sponsored by Toyota. Students actually create their own remote control cars from scratch. The catch is that they actually have to use a hydrogen fuel cell battery, essentially making them a hybrid vehicle. So this is our 6th year competing in that competition. Every 6th year, we have placed first place here in the United States. In fact, we have been chosen to represent the USA in 3 international competitions. We've flown everywhere from Germany to Netherlands, and this past competition just happened a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas. And we actually brought home the #1 prize for the #1 trophy too as well. So for the past consecutive years, Oakwood School has been #1 in that competition. Another after-school program too is a JPL Invention Challenge too as well. JPL is Jet Propulsion Laboratory. They work closely with NASA here in Southern California, and they actually conduct their own competition as well. And this is our 7th year competing in that competition. And every year we also send about 5 teams to that competition. Not only do we compete with other schools, but we also compete with engineers at JPL. And each of the 7th year, we also place first place in that competition too as well. So those are just a couple of after-school programs that we have to offer for STEAM. And we also do have after-school programs in dance and theater. We do have 2 productions for middle school. We also do have 2 major productions for high school. In theater, in those productions, we rely heavily on student participation. And that means everything from the costume design to the set design to the tech and lighting, even to directing to a play. We rely heavily on student participation. We do have 6 jazz bands, 6 rock bands too as well that meet after school. We do have a high school orchestra that goes out on events and competes as well. So those are just a few options available for after-school programs as far as electives go. We also do offer computer science courses. In middle school, we do treat it very much as an exploratory year. We want students to kind of touch and experience all the different aspects in the arts in middle school. So not only do you take an Oakwood elective, but we also add an additional elective through a Cal Arts partnership. And that Cal Arts electives could be anything from sneaker design, it could be theater, it could be music composition, music recording, like you name it. There's over 30 selections for students to choose from. Okay, in high school, there's also independent studies. In high school, usually students have a free period. Now, they can utilize that time for catch up on schoolwork. Or you can also do an independent study too, which adds an additional class to your schedule. And this is really based on your interests and what your endeavors are, whether it's science-based, whether arts-based. There's always going to be electives and independent studies available for you. All right, athletics. Athletics is a big piece of our school too as well. We recently, Steve Smith, our athletic director, joined us 5 years ago. Steve Smith is also a professional WNBA coach too. He coaches for the NBA Sparks. He has led our athletic department to new heights ever since his arrival. Since his arrival 5 years ago, Oakwood School has won 6 CIF championships here at Oakwood School. And these are some of the sports that we do have to offer: baseball, basketball, cross country, fencing, flag football, soccer, softball. tennis, track and field, volleyball, and golf. Now, there's some sports that perhaps that you compete outside of school, but you want to compete under Oakwood School, let us know, and we will actually make that sport happen for you. We can sponsor you as a student athlete. An example of that is swimming, for example. And although we don't have a swimming pool, we did have a swimmer who competed outside of school and actually competed under Oakwood School the past couple of years. And in the past couple of years, he won 4 CIF championships for us too as well. That's how fencing started, is because students spoke up. I see, I don't know if you have noticed, but there's a common theme here. We do honor student voice. If there's something that we don't have, speak up and we'll make that happen for you. We do honor student voice here. Student voice is quite loud, and at Oakwood School, everything from our murals to posters to just student voice is shown all around campus. So that's athletics. Immersion. So immersion is our signature program here at Oakwood School. It's where we stop the regular schedule on our campus for the entire 7th to 12th grade. We stop the regular schedule and students take one class for those 2 weeks. And that could be anything from animation, theater, fashion design, physics, game shows, music productions, like you name it. It's really based on the student interest. So before we actually students select classes, we ask students, what is your interest? Is it science-based? Is it activism? Is it arts? And based on that survey, we sent you a catalog of classes that you might be interested in. Immersion does involve travel. There's students in high school that travel internationally. Middle school, we try to keep it here in California. So for example, theater, if students is interested in theater, we travel to New York, watch musicals and plays, get to meet the cast backstage to see what it takes to actually run a Broadway production. Game shows is dealing more with math, probability, and statistics. We visit several studios here, game shows, and meet the producers and the game creators too as well, to kind of get a sense of what it takes to actually run a game show production. Physics, I chaperone a trip with middle school where we studied the physics and psychology behind roller coasters. We visited every single theme park here in Southern California, Magic Mountain, Disneyland, Universal Studios. We got to meet the engineers at these parks too as well, to really get to see and experience these roller coasters, but also study the psychology behind roller coasters too as well. That was pretty unique. Marine biology, students go out on a sailing trip for a week. They go to the Fiji Islands, spend a whole week on a sailboat and get to meet real marine biologists. So we take the classes outside of the 4 walls here of school, and we really want students to actually have a real life experience with professionals in their respective fields too as well. So some of these pictures here, we visited, everything from the Caltech, where they actually built the rover there, and there's a mural picture to the left with more study of art, culture, and activism. And there's also cooking. If you're interested in cooking too, we visit 5-star restaurants here, get to meet the chefs and get to cook as well. So that's immersion, one of my favorite programs here at Oakwood School. Here at Oakwood School, community is a big deal, and I know you'll hear this a lot with other schools too as well. But our small school size allow us to really get to know each other across all grades. Another way that we try to build community too as well is that we all refer each other by our first name. So everyone here knows me as Angel, not Mr. Solano, not Mr. Angel. It's just Angel, because we really want students to feel comfortable with adults too, not see us as an authority figure, but more as a mentor and a peer in your educational journey too as well. So that's one way. Clubs here at Oakwood School, we have more 55 clubs here at Oakwood School that were all started by Oakwood students and they are ran by Oakwood students. Some sample clubs, we actually last Friday we had a club fair. This is kind of like a picture on the bottom right hand corner of a club fair, and we really just have students participate and just kind of recruit each other clubs, or everything from chess club to the environmental justice club, everything from the Taylor Swift club. That was a big hit apparently this past Friday. But there's just a wide range of clubs available here at Oakwood School. And if there's not one that you see that interests you, you can start one yourself too. And not only that, but you get to run it, but you also receive a budget too as well for it. Class trips is a really important for us. It's a big deal. There's a picture of on the bottom left-hand corner. That's a picture of my advisory too. But 7th grade, 9th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade students go out on a class trip. The reason why, and we do it at the very beginning of the school year too. The reason why is because we want students to get to know each other as an entire grade, build a bond, get to know each other, especially those first few days. So that way, to get the jitters out and get to know each other. It's very important for us. Town meeting is at our school assembly. There's a picture on the top right-hand corner. It's essentially our school assembly. The only difference is that it happens every Monday and is ran and is for students. So you'll see students line up, make announcements about the club fair, make speeches, even do performances too as well. It's a space for students and is ran by students. Idea Summit kind of touches on different voices here at Oakwood School. We treat it as a diversity week here at Oakwood School. So students get to experience a unique voices or different voices here in the Oakwood community and the outside community. It's a great week for me personally. Affinity gatherings too. We have over 13 affinity groups here at Oakwood School. They range from everything from ethnicity to learning differences too as well, or to alliance groups too as well. So we do have a lot of affinity groups and affinity gatherings that happen after school as well. Arts Festival is a day dedicated for the arts here at Oakwood School. I mentioned a lot of electives. Arts plays a huge role here at Oakwood School. And essentially, we do have a special schedule that day. It looks like a museum or art exhibit here at Oakwood School throughout the whole day. So not only will you have exhibits in the sculpture room, in the drawing and painting room, essentially celebrating student art here at Oakwood School. It's one of my favorite days too as well. We end it with a nice concert by parents and Oakwood students too as well. KOK is our radio station. We stream after school starting at 6 p.m. Students have an hour slot. They could do everything from talk show, just a talk show, or they can actually spin your favorite hits. Whatever it is, you have an hour slot. But not only that, in our courtyard, we do have a speaker system all around the courtyard, and you can actually volunteer to be a DJ. So during lunch, it's a really fun ambiance to be around here because you not only get to have lunch with friends, hang out with friends, but also have music in the background. It's pretty good ambiance out there. Teacher-student relationships. I spoke a little bit about that at first name basis. We really want to establish a relationship with students. So that's big one of our pillars here at Oakwood. Spirit Night. So not only do we have a day dedicated for the arts, but we also do have a day dedicated for sports too as well. It happens in January. It's a day that we celebrate sports here at Oakwood School. We have high competitive games during that day too as well. It's a great night just to experience sports at Oakwood. Now, the kitchen, we just opened it up a couple years ago. The kitchen, we have the hot lunch program there. Not only do we have a vegetarian option and also a meat option for the hot plate, but we also do have a deli bar where you can make your own sandwiches or pick up your own sandwiches. Or we do have a salad bar too that you create your own salad. We also do have a pasta bar in case none of those other things work out for you. Now we also do have a grab and go section where you can just grab and go pre-made sandwiches, pre-made salad boxes, or pre-made kind of snack boxes too as well. That's separate from our student store. Student store is on the other side of the campus too as well, where you could find some healthy snacks and not so healthy snacks too as well. The reason why they're not so healthy snacks is because students actually choose what goes on in that student store too as well. So that's the entire presentation I have here for you, Oakwood School in a hunch. It's hard to actually say that, over virtually. I wish you could actually be on campus and experience it yourself. There's just great energy that happens here at Oakwood School. I've been here for 6 years, but I have been in independent schools for the past 16 years and have not regretted my move over to Oakwood School, and I hope to stay a little bit longer. Just a few housekeeping items. Please visit our website. There's a lot more information there as well. We do have, if you're in town, we do have a big open house this Saturday where you get to meet students, get to meet teachers too as well. We do have campus tours later on in the year too as well. Now, our application deadline to guarantee an interview, we could do this virtually too as well, is December 11th. But our general deadline is January 8th too as well. I suggest you sign up for student information sessions too as well, where you get to actually hear from Oakwood students themselves and their experiences, rather than listening to me, the adult here in the room. So, all right.
All right. Perfect. Well, I think that was an amazing presentation. I know me personally, I'm a little too old at this point, but I was amazed by all the offerings you said, Angel. I think you sold me at immersion, but if not, I think DJing during lunch, you really would have gotten me then back in the day. So I think at this point we'll open it up to some questions. So I see one question here submitted by a parent, whether prior experience was necessary for attending or joining any of these clubs. So if you can just tell us how club selection works, that would be a great place to begin.
I love that question, because in general here at Oakwood School, there's no prior experience needed anywhere. So even if you wanted to try a new instrument in orchestra, for example, you have the ability to start a new thing too as well. We actually encourage that type of curiosity, that type of thinking too as well. We want students to explore, find what you're passionate about, find what you're curious about. But yes, to answer that question, no prior experience needed to participate in after-school programs, clubs, or anything in that matter.
Excellent. And it seems like, go ahead.
To touch on it too, though, because we do have different levels too as well. For example, in orchestra, there are a high school orchestra that you have to go through auditions, but to learn an instrument, no. In basketball, for example, in our varsity selections, there's a high competitive kind of high playing level, so that it will require experience. But however, in middle school, even in high school too, if you want to try something new, there's always a space for that.
Excellent. And it seems like based off your presentation, there's a robust number of offerings that students can get involved in. So it seems like there's a club and activity for everyone, which, I really appreciated. Moving on here, there's a question here that I'm going to add on to, and I like this because it kind of focuses in on the new student experience. Do students get lost on campus? So what I'm really going to ask you is, what are you doing for students who are coming into those entry years? What does that transition period look like? How are they able to adjust to your school community?
Excellent. That's something that we consider too as well when we admit a student too. So for us, the transition kind of period starts during the summer. We set students up with buddy groups as well, and also a lone buddy too. And this is a student that we select that will take care of a new student, meaning call and a chat with a new student prior to their first day here at Oakwood School. In 7th grade, if they enter 7th grade, the same thing happens, but the week prior to the first day of school, students actually get to meet their senior buddy. Their senior buddy kind of takes them around campus, showing where their classes are as well. And also those class trips play an essential role too as well, to kind of help the transition, not give them right away like academics, but also just build that community within that class grade. In high school, we do have several touch points with high school students. In high school, like the first week and the second week, we do have lunch together along with their buddies too as well, to making sure like things are rolling smoothly, and throughout the whole year, we actually do have a person who is their job to actually keep track, or not keep track, but just stay in touch with new students in high school. In middle school, we just have so many new students that I think everyone's in the same boat, because we have the elementary campus. We have 40 students coming from the elementary campus, and we add 40 new students to the secondary campus. So essentially, everyone's new to the campus. So everyone's trying to get used to the class, the class schedule, the structure, and also getting used to having a bigger class too as well.
Perfect. And I'm actually grateful that you mentioned a lot of the different student support services that it seems like Oakwood has, from the first name basis, and just feeling that sense of, camaraderie, honestly, with your teachers, that mentorship, the buddy system. Can you speak a little bit as to how maybe advisory may work in the upper school and middle school grades?
Absolutely. So I am a middle school advisor. I have a currently seventh grade advisory, and we stick together for 2 years. So seventh and eighth grade, which is, it kind of entails the middle school years. In high school, they will get a new advisor, and that advisor will be with them for the next 4 years. So we do get to know each other intimately as well. We do have lesson plans too as well in seventh grade and middle school. We touch on organization, for example. Right now, we're talking more about like planners and also what to get involved in school or after school, those type of things. But throughout the whole year, we will have several touch points too as well. I have access to their live gradings. So if there's a missing assignment, I get a notification. I touch base with a student. If I see a student that perhaps might need extra support outside of the classroom, then I seek that support for that student, or I advocate for the student, and the student can actually advocate for himself too as well. We meet twice a week on Wednesdays and Fridays. In high school, same thing. They meet Wednesdays and Fridays too as well. We travel with them on the class trips to get to know them, even get closer with them too as well. So advisory is one of our it's kind of like the middle person between parents and students and school too as well.
Okay, excellent. And thank you for touching base on that. And also, just for everyone, if you do hear sirens in the background, it's New York City. So that's just a part of the experience. So it keeps on ringing in my ears. So I figured I'd let you all know. That's why I keep on muting myself. So Angel, actually, at this point, I want to talk a little bit more about technology, which seems to be honestly a pretty strong point of your school. You mentioned a lot about STEM and STEAM, and even some of your programs and activities that have won a lot of accolades and achievements over the years. I was just wondering if you can speak to a little bit as to how technology is implemented in the classroom, especially on a middle school level and then separately on an upper school level. I know that a lot of families do like more of that traditional sense. So not just throwing technology in and making sure that students are using iPads just for fun, just for the bells and whistles. So if you can speak to how technology is implemented and how it's intentionally used, that would be great in both of those grade bands.
Absolutely. And so in our advisory too, it's so funny because we're actually going through, we want students to actually use pen and paper as far as just like organization too as well. So in middle school, I'll say the technology piece is smoothly transitioning. We don't want them to right away start with technology. Although we do require students to bring their own laptops here at Oakwood School, and all of our facilities are smart boards are installed in all of our facilities too as well. In middle school, we do we have a no cell phone policy. So we're asking students not to bring any cell phones in middle school. And in fact, during their lunch periods and their breaks, we ask them not to even pull out their laptops too as well. So everything has to be written. In high school, we're a little bit more flexible. Obviously, like English and social studies, there's a lot more paper, there's a lot more dialogue that happens, less technology. In science, we may have, in science in the classrooms is more collaborative too as well. You rarely see a student working by themselves. There is some technology involvement in science. But for us, it's more experiential. We want them to have an experience in the classroom, so we're more project-based. So you will see a lot of experiments happen in science. In math, the only technology piece that you'll probably use is obviously a calculator for those advanced math classes, but you will not see a student working on a computer in math. So I would say, technology is great. We want students to use it as a tool, not as something that is required for them to utilize throughout the whole day. So I'll say we are intentional of not using too much technology in the classroom because we're more experiential, more project-based school.
Perfect. And I think that's exactly, what I was like paying attention to, just making sure technology is used as a resource, which of course it is. It is everywhere now. And you want to make sure you're up to date with all of the latest trends and fads and what technology is doing, but just making sure that in the classroom, when it ties back to what your child is learning, that it is purposeful and it's intentional. So I'm happy that you mentioned that. I have a few more questions for you. I know that we're officially done at 10:40. We might get out of here a few minutes early, but 3 more questions from me. And then I promise, Angel, You're all, yeah, you know, you
No,
better be
no
good.
problem. No problem.
Okay. So I saw a picture, I think it was either your second or third slide, and it was a lot of students sitting in that round table, sort of like circle. So I was just wondering if you can speak a little bit to your teaching methods, maybe your teaching philosophies in the upper school. Is it a little bit a blend of the seminar style learning, maybe with lecture? Is it mainly just lecture? Just speak a little bit to the teaching style or maybe even the discretion of that faculty and staff.
No, I absolutely love that question. I'm glad that you caught on that. So, the picture that you saw is more social studies and English or humanities based. You know, our classroom are set up in a circle because we want students to not only see each other but also share their ideas and their perspectives. So that kind of format in a classroom, we hope that it encourage students to kind of speak up or just talk about. So it's a little bit of a blend, Nicholas, just to answer your question. It's a little bit of blend. You know, there might be like our classes are 70 minutes long, so that it does allow for a time for have a lecture, but also have a dialogue. In our English and social studies, we expect students to read the material at home and come prepared to have a dialogue and a conversation in the classroom. And so in other classrooms too, like I mentioned, we do have tests, we do have textbooks, we do have lectures, we do have pop quizzes and all that. But I'll say that Oakwood School, we want students to have an experience in the classroom. We're more project based. We want them to really have use their hands and just not only utilize what they read in a textbook, but see it in real life in front of them too as well.
Okay, perfect. And then actually tying along with that, how are you able to make sure that students are finding their voice? A lot of students, are coming in and, middle school years, even upper school, they're honestly, they could be pretty introverted. They could be on the quieter side. They're reserved. They're sitting in these classrooms, and sometimes they can be intimidated by other students who are more vocal or even by their teacher. So how, as a school, are you making sure and encouraging students to find their voice, to speak up, and even to pursue some leadership roles?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And obviously, we want them to go at their own pace too, right? We Oakwood School does not just flourish just with students who already have that skill of just speaking up. No, we want to establish that too as well. So we want to reach them at their own pace. And I could talk about several experiences that I've had with some students too, who came in the quietest and end up being the most I guess. Activism happened to be one of the biggest things that they found their voice through activism here at Oakwood School, right? Oh geez, Nicholas, I lost my train of thought. So you talk how do we help students kind of find their voice? So in middle school, our classes too are very small too as well. We have about 12 to 15 students in a classroom. In high school, you might see them as small as 9 students in a classroom too as well. So our small classrooms does allow students to kind of, feel free to kind of ask questions and speak up too as well. Clubs play a major role here at Oakwood School too as well. I know that I found that space to be very valuable to encourage students to get involved, not only get to know other students outside of their grades too as well, but also find a voice in those clubs. There's some clubs that are, they are fun. Right, but there's also some clubs that actually go so deep in thought that actually do something outside of our school community too as well through community service. So there's a little bit of everything for everyone to kind of find their voice. Us adults, we kind of take a look at that too as well. We teachers are because they're small classes and they only teach about 2 to 3 classes, they will get to know these students quite well. And us adults, we kind of communicate with each other too as well. So if we see a student that perhaps is eating by themselves or perhaps just needs a little bit of encouragement, we would certainly know about that and actually kind of reach out to the student, not in a very, we try to do it very subtly and comfortable for the student too as well.
Perfect. And I have to say, Angel, pretty much you are on my hot seat today, but it's okay. You're answering all these questions. I appreciate this. So once again, thank you for taking out your time to be with us today. This is I'm super appreciative. And also for me to learn more about Oakwood. I was saying, hopefully, next time around, I'm able to visit, California, and then I can even, see a little bit more what's going on in terms of your own school communities. So once again, we're so grateful to have you here today.
Great. Thank you. No, thank you for having me. I know this is our first time actually doing this, but I'm quite excited to maybe even see the application and maybe get to meet you virtually during the interview too.
Excellent. All right. So I think this really leads me to one of my last questions. Actually, I'll make it my last question. And this is just kind of focusing in on the admissions process. So I've been asking every single school official this, but what qualities, what characteristics make for an ideal applicant? And we can just generalize it. So it's from the youngest of grades all the way to upper school. But what is your admissions team looking for? I think that's the perfect way of concluding the session today.
Yeah, that's a great question, because obviously all of these schools look for something, perhaps something different, but something in general. Obviously, great academics is a piece that we all look for. I think for Oakwood School, based on the presentation and hopefully how it came across, is that that the school actually fits you. We're relational school. Student-teacher relationships, but also I mentioned a lot of opportunity here at Oakwood School. I'll say the ideal candidate is a student who is willing to take on these opportunities and beyond. We want them to venture to different things. If you're passionate about something, we want you to kind of follow that passion, but also try other things too as well. So I think that what an ideal candidate for me as an official is that has the ability to do the work, but also has interest in beyond the academics too, is willing to explore or willing to follow their passions too, as well as someone who would thrive here at Oakwood School. And also being kind. I wish you could actually experience a tour here in person here at Oakwood School, but you'll see students just saying hi to you. You may never have seen them before, but they're really welcoming and kind, and always greeting you too as well. So kind, willing to take on opportunity, and great academics, I'll say, are the three things that we look for in a student.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing those tips. I hope everyone has jotted those down. So at least, maybe if you are planning on pursuing an application for Oakwood. But in general, that is everything that I had for today. I think we answered most of the questions in the chat. So I think at this point, Angel, is it 7:30 in the morning for you right now?
7:37 a.m. Yes.
7:37. So Angel, I know that's bright and early. So I appreciate, you waking up and getting out of bed and putting on that blazer to join us. So thank you so much for sharing all of the magic and joy that makes your school.
I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for having me here today. I appreciate it.
Of course. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. You have a whole day ahead of you. So thank you again. And hopefully we'll be speaking soon.
All right. Have a great day. Bye.
All righty. All right, so that was Angel from the Oakwood School, and we finished a few minutes early. So our next school will begin at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll conclude the morning with Northfield Mount Herman School in Massachusetts. So I'm going to give everyone a nice 12-minute, 11-minute break, and then I'll see everyone right back here for 10:50 a.m. to finish off the morning. And looking forward to hearing more about NMH.